batch video guide through history. We will be starting from the year 5000 BC and we'll end it on 2013. We will be covering all the inventions and developments that have influenced design over the years. In 5000 BC, the Egyptian armlet was invented, and pottery, Neolithic pottery was started in India. In 4000 BC, art rock paintings dated to the time were found, and the Indus Valley civilization started with using ceramic figurines and metallurgy with copper.
700 BC, these are the found in chain stitches made in China. These are the different types of chain stitches: high speed double needle and high speed single needle, and then handle operated chain stitches machines.
In 200 AD, running stitch, that is a normal stitch we used in daily life.
Okay, so the first trace of the umbrella in the Indian subcontinent was found in the 4th century BC during the Mahabharata times. The sun god begged for pardon and he gifted wife Renuka an umbrella.
She was wearing full of lace gowns, and that's why this lace was famous, so she was wearing.
In 800 AD, it is a medieval music period. It started from 800, somewhere around the 800 to 1400, and there were many instruments used in this period. Some of them were like a flute, a lute, early versions of an organ and violin. Music that was popular during this period was sacred and secular both, and sacred music was mostly popular in the churches.
In the 10th century, crossbow was introduced here. Crossbow was typically made up of strong fibers so that the arrow could go for the long distances, go farther. In the 11th century, magnetic compass was introduced. Magnetic compass was introduced in China during Han Dynasty, and due to the magnets around the compass, it was easier to locate distances quickly.
Then I will go on to the 13th century AD, which states the remark of the Renaissance period. The Renaissance period is basically, in short line, a revolution or a transition from the following of the church to practices followed by individual. It was transfer of focus from gods to the individuals. Like the first point states that there was the beginning of real people images were made. That was the initiation and mark, like Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. That was the mark of Renaissance period. Like the artists were focusing on the individual and taking order. It was basically, Mona Lisa was an order given to Leonardo da Vinci stating that make my wife in a portrait form, but by history it is proved that Leonardo da Vinci has shown his feminine version within the portrait.
Starting with 1500, there was pencil. Pencil was made when a huge graphite mine was discovered in England. The graphite rods were inserted in hand-carved wooden holders, and that's how pencil came into being. Then there were oil painting, knitting machine. Knitting machine was invented by William Lee for the production of stockings, so hence it was called stocking frames. Moving on to 1600, the great scientific revolution, Copernicus revolution took place, where Copernicus told that the Earth was not the center of the universe, the Sun was the center of the universe and the other planets moved around it. Then there was compound microscope, which used multiple lenses, whereas simple microscope only had one lens. Then printing became very prevalent in 1600 AD.
In 1800, overlock machines are discovered. Then bobby pins are discovered in 1800. Bobby pins, due to the short hair types becoming popular in this 18th century. Bobby pins came to be used that is keeps the short hair pin up to a particular position. Then khaki is discovered in 18. Khaki is the khaki light to yellow brownish color. Then develop infusion styles of the hairstyles in 18.
Spirit duplicator, it was also known as ditto machine in North America. Just to mention it, it was in the year 1923 by William Ritzefield. It was basically a printing method, and the reason it's known as spirit duplicator, which is an unconventional name. It was just because it had the contents of alcohol in it, which was used for in inks for making ink. So alcohol was a major component. That's why it got the name of a spirit duplicator. Continuing, we have high button shoes or fashion thing. It was in the 1920s. They were made of leather. Had a very long strap with small button attached to it, and replacing the dainty boots which were made of silk and suede in the olden times.
So here the Velcro was discovered by a Swiss engineer, Jorge Mastal from Switzerland. So he got the idea from the burdock seeds, which were the burdock flowers, the seeds used to stick on the pants and the fur and the cotton, whatever the material which was used that time. So then he invented it, and he got his first break in the aerospace industry. So Velcro got its recognition from the aerospace industry, where it helped the astronauts in their space suits. Then Velcro was then also used in various futuristic creations of fashion designers such as Pierre Cardin, Paco Rabanne and Andre Courreges.
In 2001, the Wikipedia was launched on January 15, and the first Wikipedia was named as Rick Gates. The second iPod was introduced by Steve Jobs, made by Apple. Then we should come to 2002. The keyboard invented by the Candy staff and AKB, as known as the touch screen, which are they normally used by everyone nowadays.
Then I have in 2006, Twitter was launched by Jackie Dors. Then we have Pluto was demoted as a dwarf planet. It was the only planet which was considered a major planet earlier. Then in 2007, we have Google Street View, which was launched, which gave us a panoramic view of the positions along many streets in the world. Then we have the iPhone, Apple iPhone. iPhone is a smartphone which is designed and marketed by the Apple company.
I'll start with 2009, which goes like, water was discovered on the moon by NASA when the satellite was pressed on the surface of the moon to test the presence of water. Then we have telescope for invisible stars, which was invented by Herschel, which contains infrared sensors that let humans to see objects which are far in the universe.
Last we have a video screen that developed by scientists that allows 3D images, which was designed on 21st March.